Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Smart Life Club. Today is Taco Tuesday. We are having a great time. This is a coffee break show. Today's going to be really great. I'm Vicki Helm. I'm so glad you joined us. Listen, if you're new here, do me a favor and put your name down there so we can get to know you and like you and see you and meet you. And if you're watching this afterwards, do me a favor, put hashtag replay right in there. And if you're looking over here and you're new, do me a favor, just put your name anywhere so we can have the conversation, we can grow, we can talk. We go live every day, Monday through Friday, and we talk about inspiration, motivation, tips, tricks, tools, everything that creates thrivability. That's what the Smart Life Club does. If you're here on YouTube, welcome to YouTube Live. We are not quite sure what we're doing with it yet, but we love it, and we just want to welcome you to the show. And so today is Tuesday, and I'm looking right here. Yeah, it's Tuesday, and everybody's coming on pretty slow. I see you coming on right now. We probably have a little interrupt here, and I just want to shut this off. I actually have a heater running right here because my feet were cold, and I'm just going to shut it off. There it is. That noise goes. Thank you for being here. So do me a favor and put a comment down below and say hello. Today, I want to talk about the top 5 careers that are post-pandemic. And they're careers that we can talk about that are going to be super necessary when we get to the point where we are. It says we're live on all 3 channels right now. So I'm just going to keep going. So right now is a time where a lot of people have lost their careers, and probably permanently. There's a point where we are turning belly up because this pandemic has made it so that the career that you did have is just kind of gone away. And you're like, gosh, what am I going to do? Or the career you do have has gotten to the point where it's got so few customers that it's really getting tight. And so the future, I made some notes actually today, because the future careers that are actually going to fly, that are actually going to move, are not going to move quickly. This isn't going to be high. We're recovering from the pandemic and it's an overnight success. So that's not what's going to happen. We're going to grow over time, and we're going to continue to get back on our feet. But if you want one of those businesses that is actually going to be low cost to start, because I don't know, I know that if you have a current business right now, if you have a current business and you're a small business owner, there's some help that you can get, but there's a lot of hoops you got to jump through in order to get those loans. So they're not as easy as you would hope them to be, but they will keep you afloat if you qualify for them. But if you don't, and you're thinking, man, I need to start something right now. What can I start right now that'll have some teeth, that'll have, some actual staying power? Because what you're really looking for is traction. You want to have a little bit of traction. Somebody, I see you guys on, somebody hit me up with a comment here. Good morning. There we go. Nice to see you on, Donnie. Nice to see you on, Karen. Nice to see you on, Robin. Thank you very much. So what happens when we get to the point where we're deciding how are we going to make income? So I want to talk right now as a strategist, as a business development strategist. And I've been doing that for a couple of decades now. And I want to talk about income. We're used to having one source of income. That's how the average person is trained. I got a job and that's a source of income. I don't need anything else. Then we get wiser, and sometimes we're like, okay, I need a retirement plan. I have a job and I have a retirement plan, and these are my 2 sources of income. And then we get wiser and we're like, okay, I need a third income stream. So I got a retirement plan and I got an income. And so maybe I'll get another job. We don't think in terms of having cash flow. And when people say passive income, everybody falls into the realm of rents. They're like, well, if you have an apartment building, then you have people living in your apartment building right now. Right now, rents are a little unnerving. We don't even know who's going to pay you or whatever. So it's like when you have incomes, the average millionaire has 7 of them. And 7 of them stabilizes your income flow. There are 7 structures of income, though. There's 7 places full of income. It's not 7 jobs where you're working 80, 90 hours a week like our nursing staff is doing right now all over the world. It's not that. It's vastly different when you take a look at incomes and you have income streams that are set up. So I've picked 5 of them right now. And I think the first one that is going to be really big right now is micro manufacturing. That I think is going to come back to the United States, but not just manufacturing, but micro manufacturing. And so what does that mean? Well, micro manufacturing is going to be small manufacturing that services a community or services the US, but it's going to come back a little bit local. Those local things that you can produce that better people, and I don't mean they have to be something that people can use. They can't be something people, if it's a like to have, they can say no to you. If you want to micro manufacture right now and you're doing it at home, and say like you're micro manufacturing microgreens or something, those things people are going to want. Those things people are going to need. And consumables are great for that. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you want to have more than one source of income at all times for the rest of your life. The reason we're writing this out a little easier is because we have multiple incomes, and you're not, the key to the future is not being in the mindset where you're dependent on one source. You're dependent on one source. If you're dependent on one source, that's when you have holes in your boat. You don't know when it's going to get knocked through, but eventually it will. And because we're so used to being debt heavy, which is, I put it on a credit card, I put it on a credit card, I put it on a second home mortgage, we're so debt heavy that we have to have more than one income source coming in. And here's the thing, when you start the front end of the income source, you will understand how the income source happens. So for me, I like writing books. And you see that Joe Vitale was on Wednesday. He had 80 books, 80. So I think we only have like some 37 books. We're, smaller than that. But people that, if you write good information or you write spectacular fiction, people want to be around you. And if you produce books, and right now online producing books has become easy. So publishing is number 2. So I have micro manufacturing and publishing as number 2, because that's a good digital asset. The books work for you day and night, night and day. And it's really what's made, like Grant Cardone has it. He has 13 books or 8 books, 13 programs, and that gives him 21 cash flows. So he's got online programs with books and 21 cash flows. And that's why he's got a boatload of money. He just keeps selling programs and things like that he does. He serves people with that. Publishing is great that way. And I'm going to add the third thing to that, and I'm going to add media. Media is going to be the biggest area where you can do something. So what's media? The area of podcasting and YouTube, all of these things. Why? Because people are going to be looking for information. They're going to be battling through saying, what are the top 5 careers I can start at home? A lot of people, they don't want to have careers that are going to be huge amounts of time. I always build upfront to have back-end cash long-term. And what do I mean that? Upfront work, which is designing and like outlining a book for me. And then the back-end cash flow is the process that the book brings. You have to set all of these up. And at first, there's a learning curve to set them up. You got to learn how to do it, etc. But YouTube is full of videos, just tons of videos that will show you how to do that. So if you're thinking, well, I like to have a micro farm and produce food for people, then you should go look over there under YouTube and say micro manufacturing, learn about that industry first, then micro farming, let's learn about that. And then pick a product out of micro farming that you can start to sell, like microgreens, and how you're going to sell it up. I'm giving you the lowest cost startups that you can do from home that aren't going to sink the boat, that aren't going to sink your pocket or your pocketbook. And you might want to have more than one. So the next one is if you're a strategist is going to be really needed, but you can't just say, I'm a strategist. You actually have to deliver the goods. You actually have to deliver exactly what you say. Good morning, Robert. Hey, it's Taco Tuesday. Hey, Jane, Dan, nice to see you on. Karen, thank you for being here. Careers you can begin now. Number one, micro manufacturing. That's right. Number two, publishing. It's writing books, it's publishing, full stop, because publishing has a lot of things to it, but writing books is a great way. And with ebooks, you don't need a publisher. Things are different now. The next and final one is going to be a strategist. And here's the difference, because marketing is going to be vastly different coming up. It's going to be vastly different. Marketing has to have a different edge to it. And so when you're a strategist, you're looking at a company that needs to pivot or turn or do something else or add a division so that it has the kind of money flow that other companies have. That's when you want to bring in your career as a strategist. So let's say you have 10 years in an industry, maybe 10 to 15 years in an industry, and you really have known it. Like, let's say you have worked in a factory for 10 years and you've managed the factory, you've been part of how it runs and everything else, and you can save them money, because if you can save them money by restructuring it or doing something or adding something to it in the long term, that kind of strategy, that strategist, somebody that's really familiar with an industry, that's the type of person who's going to be able to go in and say, this is where you need to restructure and how, and that's a long-term project. So if you've never been a strategist or you've never been a consultant, because a consultant is the next thing, and everybody right now loves to label themselves as a consultant. I'm a consultant. Have done businesses, et cetera, et cetera. If you hire a consultant, the first thing you want to ask them is, what's the most money they've ever made in a year? And if they're not where you want to be, that's not the consultant for you. The consultant for you that's actually made the kind of money you're looking to make, that's the person you want to talk to. That's the person you want to get in front of. You want to get to the point where you're looking for someone who's done what you've done. Period. Full stop. Morning, Lori. Nice to see you on. Robert says, wait a minute. I want to pull up my bam. There it is. Look at that. New toys. Hey. Robert says, strategist galore. Prove you can show what you do. If you can strategize yourself, then don't do it for others. That's the biggie right there. There's so many people who try to call themselves a consultant or a strategist. You have to have industries there. I mean, you really have to know what that's doing. I want to go over here because I think this is cool. Stephen, he says, we can learn a lot from the Amish. Look at what they're doing and teach yourself how to do what they do on a large scale. That is a good key. I mean, when I sit down with somebody, I always tell them I have 12 successful businesses. But the truth is, I started 19. And I've had, 6 fail or so. And the leftovers, I have the one I'm doing now, which is the 13th. But you have to let them know. It's like, yeah, I've started this many businesses. This many have failed and this many have succeeded. And I've seen the end of both things. I know it through and through and through and through. And so when you get to the point where you're looking at that, you can learn a lot from the Amish. The Amish, they have decades of excellent work. Their work is so primo. Look at what they're doing and teach yourself how to do that on a large scale. Thank you. That was a really good one. That's the main point, isn't it? Said Robin. So the number three is being a strategist. And number 4 is consultant. Strategist and consultant, they're vastly different. You have to know the difference between them. And so look at this. Okay, here's Mr. Smarty Pants right here, huh? Finally pulling up comments. Yay. Yes, see, she can be taught. Okay, so yes, Robert, Facebook tech was a little squirrely this AM. It seems to be working now. Yes, it is working now. It was a little squirrely this morning and slow. So the future is going to be about adding more than one. It's like, to me, the best thing you can have is businesses from home. Now, I want to tell you, I have projects everywhere. I have them. I have a business partner that's in Pennsylvania. You guys know Karen is my business partner. You don't have to be in the same state. You don't even have to be in the same country. I have a business partner currently in Australia. You do not have to do that. I have business partners currently in Canada. So what you want to have when you're looking at this is not necessarily what's going to make you money fast, but what's going to make you money long term. And you want to really think about that, because everybody's so into the fast buck. They're like, bam, rich, broke, just like that. When you have something that delivers long term, you have to look at what exactly did they do to create long term. So I love Grant Cardone. Right now, I love his model, his business model, because he's got this huge company and it's all based off publishing. He wrote several books on real estate that go with his real estate programs. And he's got a sales team that just sells those products, and he's made a fortune. You see, once you've made something that brings in money long term, there's an actual equation to doing this. So most people who are doing business right now, most people who are doing something, they're not thinking long term. They're like, I got to pay my rent today. And they concentrate on how to hustle to grind to get their rent paid for this month. You want to build something that's long term. So that means in the beginning, you might be hustling pretty hard. You might be saying, here's my rent, but you're putting that program and that publishing thing together, and you're making this build long term until it's stabilized. True businesses, like if it's like a restaurant, they don't say it's profitable until year number 5. So look how hard you have to have a restaurant and hustle and grind and work. You're working, 12 to 19 hours a day for that first 5 years, getting that long-term thing built. I mean, that's a lot of hard work. It's the same with real estate. There are so many realtors out there right now. When you come in and you're out of your real estate school and you're going to, make some differences, I mean, you better pick a good real estate investing program like Brian Rogers is, and really learn that industry. And you're not going to be an overnight sensation in 1 year. You're going to have that learning curve and keep going, et cetera. That whole piece, everybody's got to do. But when you start making the place where people go to learn something, that's when you start becoming more professional. So it's like you can do the work for someone, or you can instruct people on how to do the work if you actually have that as an expertise. If you don't, like right now, I've written 37 books, but you don't see my program out there, how to write a book in 30 days or less and have it up. I actually might do that now that I'm thinking about it, but you never know. So, I mean, it's like you have to get to the point where you're saying, these are my income streams and these are how I manage them, period. Income streams do not have to take your long-term work. They take your upfront work. You upfront learning curve, get it done, do it. And then it is a long-term income thing for you. So you get your real estate license, you learn about investing in real estate, and you make your first deal, your second deal, your third deal, and about, I don't know how many deals later, you become an expert. And suddenly you're thinking, okay, you know how to pick a building. You know how to pick an apartment building. You know how to, the maintenance, you know how to set everything up. You know how to do something. When you really know it in your heart, inside and out, then you have the possibility of teaching other people. The future is going to be about, wow, now what do I do? I've lost this and this and this. How do I rebuild? And so if you know how to help people rebuild, the future is going to be very exciting for you. So let's see. Here it is. First off, number 4 is consultant. And right here, I want to talk about Robert again. The old saying, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I totally get this. And here's another one. Real money is made over time, not overnight. Do you hear that? Real money is made over time, not overnight. It's that way with Warren Buffett. He made it over time. The markets make it over time. Everything makes it over time, not overnight. Now, are there some opportunities to have that overnight? Yes. I mean, we did ride that Bitcoin wave and it was like, hi, it's pennies. Now it's $20,000. And it still was over time, but then it had an overnight run to the top. So you're going to have to look at the future and say, what are people going to need to know? So here's the thing. Right now, there are some, 7 million people last week that applied for unemployment. And we don't know if these businesses are going to make it. These owners are in tears, crying and saying to people, I had to lay off my team. I've never had to do that my whole life. I've never once had to lay off all these people. And so what happens then is these people may have to rethink their careers or rethink what they're doing. I mean, I've done that. You have to rethink what you're doing, what you want to become, what you want to try. That's why I like the word entrepreneur or business owner. I do not like, I'm a restaurateur, I'm in real estate, I'm in this. That's your current gig. If you're an entrepreneur, you open yourself up to ideas and opportunities, and you can learn to do business. You know, Richard Branson said once, he said, if you can run one business, you can run any business. And he said that several years ago. And what happened for me is I got to the point where I was actually excited about learning about a business until I suddenly could open a business. You don't want to say, this is my business. You want to say something like, this is my current gig. This is what I'm doing. Right now, I'm an author. I like that. I like being an author and a show host, evidently. So I love this right here. They say mastery comes with repetition. Practice something like 10,000 hours or something. Yes, that was a book, wasn't it? It was like 10,000 hours. That's when you become really good at it. So also, this is really good. Here, Edison made 10,000 mistakes before the light bulb was made. Yes, we have to enjoy that process. And I got to tell you, if you ask my team, I make the most mistakes. I make the most mistakes, and I'd like to think it was because I do the most, but I don't know. Robin, truth, repetition and practice over time builds excellence. It's building to excellence. That's when you get more in there. Love this right here. Stephen says, learn more about investments. Let money work for you, or let money work for money. That's right. Let money work for money. Love it. I think that is very good. Okay. Karen says, and how this determination changed trillions of lives across the world. We would be in awe if we could see what his tenacity created. Yes. So what happens now is I want to give you the 5 things. I have consulting and publishing and media and micro manufacturing. And I'm going to add consulting in there. I'm going to add coaching in there as well. But finally, you have to be licensed to do this one. But it's probably going to be the biggest area. And I want you guys to think about this right now. If you're a therapist, your time is now. There's going to be so much grief around the world of loss, whether it's loss of a loved one, loss of a job, loss, just a feeling of loss. And rebuilding, you have to get drive for, to rebuild for, you have to reimagine a new future. And there's a lot of people right now that are carrying heavy stress, just really heavy stress around them. And the 6th biggest career that I think is going to be number 1 is some sort of healership and therapy, the human touch pieces where people are going to need to grieve or to get back up, or maybe there's a lot of lost ones. I know right now for me, the The key area, I need to drink I'm dry here. A key area for me is I have a lot of friends or some friends right now that have COVID, and I am watching the fight. I mean, they are putting their posts up and saying, how difficult things are for them. And so we don't know we don't know what the future is going to be like after this. It's a post-pandemic world. And tomorrow, I want to talk about my guest right now for a little bit. And this is why you do not want to miss this. You do not want to miss this. We're going to be with like one of the best number one healers in the United States tomorrow. We are going to be with someone who is going to help us do a stress reset and look at the future differently. And we are going to be at the top place right now, probably with literally one of the best healers in the country. And we are going to take a look at the future together. And we're going to be in the present moment together. And we are going to unfold this. It's like this time is very unusual. The number one conversation everybody is having is we are living in interesting times. We are living in this. Everybody is like, it's just so living in this. The truth is this: the place where you live at isn't out there. The place where you live at is in here and in here. These are the two places you live at, right here. And those two places, if you're like, wow, we are living in such a weird place, you must be telling yourself something weird. And whatever you're telling yourself, that's what's going to manifest. You get what you believe. And if things are weird, what does that mean? What does that deliver to you? And if you're looking at yourself, yesterday, one of the people that have COVID right now is, I don't know if it's ABC, NBC, or CBS. Please, it's Cuomo. He's got COVID and he's putting these videos out right now. And he's talking about how it is that it is to breathe or how to not get it in your lungs. And he's at home still doing his work with COVID, with his fever, just, there. And my friends that are laying down, they're like, hey, I made it. And I'm just barely any energy to lay down or do things, or resting 10 hours a day, or just huge amounts of time. But one of the things he said is his doctor said, can you breathe in? And he was like, yes. And he goes, do it. Even though it feels like it's burning. CNN, Chris Cuomo. Thank you, Cuomo. And so it's like this breathing in, this. And he said, when I breathe in, it hurts. It hurts like anything. It burns all the way down. And then he said, hold it for, 10 seconds. He's doing the opposite of what people are being told to do from his doctor. And the thing is, if you watch these people, we don't know what the post-pandemic world is. We don't know what next winter is going to be like. But I will tell you this: if you have an income that you can work from home, like I'm doing right now, if you can work from home, if you're doing it from home and you can create income that is not dependent on a job or dependent on somebody else that is outside hiring you or trading time for money, that is going to be the biggest foundation you can have. I don't know if Social Security or disability or any of those, I don't know if those things are going to be around next year. But I do know that if I learn how to have income sources coming in, I only have to learn it once. I only have to set them up once and then monitor them. When I monitor them, I can make a new one and put another one in. I know that then once I know this skill, once I have this skill under my belt, I become my own income, or I can build my own income orchard. And if you want to know more about it, that book over there, which is Smart Cash Flow Secrets, I told you guys last time, I do not tout my books. Buy this one, now buy this one, now buy this one. I don't do that. I am telling you, this is the only one right now that I think is the most important book people can read right now, just so they understand how to get cash flow. not debt flow, not reliance flow, but cash flow. Whether you create barter or something, do it now. Do it now, 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 now. All right, I'm off, stepping down from my pedestal. I want to say that's the show for you that I have today. Go look at it again. Go find something that you can do. Learn how to make something at home. Do that now. Do it now. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Mwah. Bye.